How did Sargent make his bold brushstrokes look so effortless? Like many artists, I spent years struggling with tight, overworked paintings until I found a simple exercise hardly anyone practices that finally helped me achieve a loose painterly style. So in this video, I'm going to show you the best way to develop confident brushwork like Sargent's, even if you're a beginner. When I first started painting, oils felt impossible to control. I'd carefully draw everything out, but the moment I tried to paint loosely like Sargent, I'd obliterate the drawing and the whole thing would turn into a muddy mess. After that, I got scared of putting down paint, so my painting stayed stiff and tight. It took me years to realise the problem wasn't oil paint, it was how I was practicing. I only painted portraits, so I had to think about proportions, skin colours, light and shadow, all at once. Everything changed when I started practicing with subjects that let me focus on paint handling and form without the pressure of capturing a likeness. That's why one of the best exercises for learning confident, expressive brushwork is painting fabric, because it forces you to handle every kind of edge, hard, soft, and everything in between. We often treat fabric like it's just something in the background, which is why it ends up looking flat and lifeless. But not Sargent. For him, clothing was often one of the main features, bringing design, colour and drama to his work. He also used it to show off what he could do with a brush. So if you want to learn how Sargent achieved his stunning brushwork, start by studying how he painted fabric. I'm going to be doing this in 2 stages. First a master copy, then painting fabric from life, where the real learning happens. I'll be copying the white satin dress from Sargent's portrait of Lady Agnew of Loch Nor to see if I can break down how he achieved those bold brushstrokes. The goal isn't a perfect copy, it's to understand how he modelled the forms so I can use it in my own work. I'll start by blocking in the main light and shadow shapes. This is the most important step, because none of the advice about brushes, mediums and paint consistency matters unless you can simplify your subjects into big shapes first. Oil paint is fluid, so it's much easier to control when you work with large masses. Instead of drawing outlines first, then colouring in, it lets you make adjustments after you put down colour, so you're drawing with paint. That is the real key to handling oils with confident, expressive brushstrokes. Once I've established the main light and shadow shapes of the dress and the gorgeous lilac sash, I'll start refining the edges between them. I'm working wet into wet, but I'm not blending. I'm placing the midtones along the edges of the shadows with clear, separate strokes. This is where brushwork really matters. Each brushstroke is a shift in tone, turning the form and making it appear 3D. Think of each stroke like a tile in a mosaic. Lots of small tiles gives you a smoother, softer finish. Fewer larger tiles creates a bold, painterly structured effect. For the big tiles, I'm using a large filbert bristle, Sargent's favourite. For softer transitions, I'll switch to smaller brushes. Now I'm adding small details like these dark accents between the folds of the lilac sash. I'm using a smaller soft head brush. This lets me place the dark on top of the light without the colours scrubbing and mixing together. I've created a brush guide with a list of the exact brushes I use below. With a single brush, you can make an almost infinite variety of marks just by changing the pressure and angle. So how do you control it? Don't hold your brush like a pencil. Hold it gently from the back of the handle and you'll find it much easier to control the pressure, direction and angle of each stroke. You'll keep your brush much steadier if you stand back with your arms straight, so the movement comes from the shoulder. If you stand too close, you start painting from the elbow or wrist, like when you're writing, and you'll be much more likely to wobble around. Once you can handle your brush, the next step is knowing where to place it. In some areas, Sargent uses just a single loaded brushstroke, like the bright highlights on the satin dress or the shadows in the folds of the lilac sash. These are the bold brushstrokes we associate with his painterly style. But notice, he uses them sparingly. In most places, the transitions are much softer and more carefully refined. Bold marks grab your attention, but if you use them everywhere, they distract from each other and lose their impact. So how did Sargent decide where to go bold and where to refine? He edited. If you painted this dress from life, you'd see way more information than this painting shows. Look at this Sargent painting alongside the actual dress from the Sargent and Fashion exhibition at Tate Britain. Notice how much he simplifies the embroidery, as it would be impossible to paint every single thread. Master copies are fantastic for analysing another artist's technique, but they don't teach you the most difficult skill, deciding what to include and what to leave out. So how do you learn it? By painting fabric from life. Here, I've set up a piece of cloth using a clip to create some interesting folds. Start with white fabric so you can focus on values and edges without having to worry about colour. With so many folds, fabric can be pretty complicated. It gets even harder on a real model because they move, so the folds never stay exactly the same. But you don't have to copy every fold exactly. You just need to paint believable fabric by getting the variety of hard and soft edges right. Hard edges where it turns sharply and soft where it rolls. It's a bit like painting clouds in a landscape. You're not chasing precise shapes, you're trying to capture the texture and feel. So how do you paint fabric that looks real without getting lost in every single crease? To ignore the smaller folds, I'm squinting and looking for the bigger shapes. I'm simplifying the fabric into just 3 value groups: shadows, lights, and the brightest highlights. I'll block these in thinly at first to establish the big shapes, but as I start refining the edges, I'm going to need much thicker paint. After teaching thousands of students, the most common brushwork mistake I see beginners make is not using enough paint. For that painterly look, with clean colour, placed on top with clear visible brushstrokes, you must load your brush for every stroke. If there isn't enough paint, you'll scrape into the layers beneath and everything will mix together and turn to mud. Mix more than you think you'll need and use a palette knife to make sure you mix enough. To make their paint flow more, a lot of artists will add a medium like linseed oil. But for beginners, I think this can be a mistake because most people use way too much. You have to be careful. The more liquid you add to paint, the easier it becomes to lift off. Then once again, everything will get mixed together and turn to mud. If your paint isn't flowing, it's usually a sign you're not using enough of it. So before you reach for medium, mix more paint and load your brush. Another way to help your paint flow more without using medium is by choosing the right surface. Most beginners start on cheap acrylic primed canvases or boards. These are often very absorbent, so the paint sinks in and your brushstrokes look flat. That's why many professional artists prefer less absorbent surfaces like oil primed linen, which is what I'm using here. The paint stays on the surface so you can see more of my brushwork. But you don't need the best linen. Adding a couple of extra coats of gesso to a shop-bought canvas or priming a wooden panel will give you a surface that's much less absorbent. Switching to oil-primed linen can feel tricky at first, like driving a sports car when you're used to a hatchback. Because the surface is less absorbent, the paint stays on top, which is great for showing your brushwork, but it also makes it easier to smear the paint together if you keep brushing into it. So you have to be really deliberate and economical. Try to touch the canvas as little as possible. Place a stroke, then leave it. This is the hardest habit to break because we all overwork. I still catch myself doing it when I watch these videos back. If an area isn't working, don't keep fiddling and hoping it will fix itself. Scrape it back, reload and go again. Less absorbent surfaces are great for this because you can scrape paint off more easily and keep correcting mistakes. Painting is a puzzle. Some sections may take several attempts to solve, but each pass teaches you how to describe the form with fewer strokes. Sargent is said to have scraped back and repainted some portraits up to 12 times, so while it may appear effortless, he actually worked incredibly hard to achieve those results. That's the real secret to bold, painterly brushwork. It's not magic, it's patience, restraint, and correcting your mistakes. And fabric, with all its hard and soft edges, is one of the best ways to practice this. But controlling edges isn't just about painting clothes, it's essential for realistic portraits. Watch this video next to learn how.